There seems to be a lot of theories out there about why people procrastinate, and there's probably some truth to all of them. Myself, I choose to think of it merely as a bad habit that I started forming as a kid and carried it with me into adulthood. Like most people, it was easy to recognize that I procrastinated, or probably at the very least distracted myself too much and too often from what was really important, kind of a self-sabotage. The weight of some of the responsibilities hanging over me every day, deadlines getting closer, and knowing that I wasn't doing enough about them was mentally excruciating, kind of a self-torture. I was very good at distracting myself, more TV than I wanted, social media, checking emails way more than necessary. I really wasn't even sure where the time was going on a lot of the days. Have you ever felt like you were too busy to get important things done, but couldn't really explain what you were doing instead? That was me. I did know that, and I also knew there was an opportunity to be way more productive. I wanted more, and I wanted way more from my time, and ultimately for myself. And I got really clear about this. So I decided that when I'm working, I want to be working primarily on important, high-value things. For me, high-value things are like projects for myself or campaigns, for clients, writing, other content creation, planning, strategizing, also even reading good books that help my life, and exercising. These are all like high-value things that were falling by the wayside for me. So for your life, the high-value, important assignments may be the same or somewhat similar. Whatever is relevant to what you do for a living, whether you're an employee, self-employed entrepreneur, a writer, an artist, whatever you do for a living, there are high-value and low-value things that need to be done, and even no-value things that you might agree we shouldn't spend any time on. So with all this in mind, I developed a simple system for myself to make sure that I was optimizing my time and work activities better. My theory was that if I could defeat procrastination and get rid of as many distractions as possible, I would probably remove the torture that procrastination was delivering to me. I would get more value work done, more high-value work done, and not only would it be done sooner, but it would also be done better, and I was right. I'm going to share my insanely simple system with you right now that I still use every day, and I'll probably use it forever. It just keeps me focused. Now, I believe this system will help you too if you're fighting this and if you'll commit to it. Hell, it's worth a try and it's free. To be able to replace bad habits, and I feel very strongly about this, to be able to replace bad habits with good habits is a gift that we owe ourselves every day. We are definitely worth it. And if this system does work for you, I'm hoping you'll teach it to your kids also. If they're putting off important things too, then they're going through the same mental hell that we do. Let's face it, when we procrastinate, it's not as if we're not doing anything. We're actually doing low and no value activities instead. For some, every day, all day. It feels kind of silly once we realize that's what we're doing with our time. This insanely simple system requires 3 very inexpensive tools. The first is a dry erase board of any size. Mine is 11 inches by 14, which I bought at a Walgreens drugstore near me for about $6. You can also buy them online. The second tool, very important, is a simple digital kitchen countdown timer. I tested a few, and the one shown here works perfect for this. It's an XREXS and costs $10 on Amazon. Now, cell phones have countdown timers too, but I would go ahead and spend the $10 and get one that's dedicated just for this. The third tool is just a common notebook. I use 1 page of the notebook for each day. None of this requires much time at all. So the first step for the dry erase board, we write our highest value projects, campaigns, other assignments or tasks, those things that tend to get postponed, even though they are the most important ones. I try not to have too many of these on the board, somewhere between 2 and 5. These are the most important ones. When one gets completed, it can be replaced by another. Once the board work is completed, which takes very little time, we want the board always in a very visible place, as close to our view as possible all day. We want to be constantly reminded that as much of our work time should be spent working on what's on that board. Also, at the very top of the board, you're going to put your main why as to what you want from your efforts. Usually your why is what you want your rewards to be for the great work you're going to start producing. Your why may be that you want your kids to go to great colleges. Maybe you want more financial security. Maybe live a more satisfied life. Could be material things, whatever are most important to you. This system is going to help you to manifest them. Next comes a pad which has 1 day on each page and should be dated. I typed this so you'll be able to read it, but I just jot mine myself, and you'll probably want to do that too. On the left side of each page, project what you expect to be working on in 2-hour segments. For instance, if you begin your workday at 7 a.m., then project what you expect to be working on from 7 to 9 a.m., no further than that. Then at around 9 a.m., project what you plan to be working on from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and so forth. Naturally, you want to be doing as much high-value work as possible during each 2-hour segment, so project everything on this side of the page just 2 hours at a time. Even when you're going to eat breakfast or lunch, need to run an errand, or have a meeting during the next 2 hours, just jot it down. This helps to be conscious of your activities as the day moves along. It also helps and roughly records where time is being spent. Low-value tasks may need to be done, but they usually tie up more time than they should or need to. Of course, no-value tasks shouldn't be done at all during work time. Next, towards the right-hand side of the page are 2 more columns, one labeled high-value work, and to the right of that are high-valued hours. These are items that come from the dry erase board that we want and need to be spending as much time as possible on. The object is to spend at least 1 hour at a time on these priorities. Usually high importance, high reward, high expectations, either ours or someone else's. This is where the countdown timer comes in. This is used to keep track of the high-value work and hours. Keep the timer close to where you're working, and when starting an hour of high-value work, set it for 60 minutes, 1 hour, and off you go, doing your high-value work. The countdown timer running seems to help with focus and discipline. The alarm goes off when the hour is up. If you're interrupted by a phone call or somebody comes by and needs to talk or anything like that, just merely pause the time on the timer and restart once getting back to your high-value work. Sometimes you may forget to pause the timer, and other times you may forget to turn it back on. That's just us being human. It seems to work out in the end, though. Then after we work on a high-value task for an hour, we put a 1 under high-value hours. If it's just 30 minutes, we put 1/2. The idea is to rack up as many hours doing high-value work as possible each day. Again, on the pad, just like on the board, at the top of every page, every day, you want to write your top why or whys. Whatever it is that you work so hard for. You're not just going to be busy anymore. You're going to be more productive, and that's going to produce rewards for you if you do this. These are your goals, and once you earn them, you shall receive them. That new home, maybe? Perhaps you just want to live somewhere else. You can have pretty much anything that you want as long as you're truly doing high-value work with your time. Squandering and wasting time brings nothing to any of us. It's important to know that all of this takes very little time to do or manage. If you do this, and I hope you do, not only does more high-value work get done, but you'll also notice that your brain will start responding to your new work pattern. In other words, your brain starts becoming trained, and guess what? This is the main payoff for you. The habit of procrastinating now begins to die. It's being replaced with good work habits that will eventually produce great results and successes to you. Again, I hope you'll try this and hope you'll let me know how it goes. If you do like it, please hit the like and the share buttons if you think others might benefit from it. Comments, any feedback, one way or the other is appreciated. Tell me what you think. Thanks very much and have a great day.